This story was about the recognized strongest exorcist in the world. One night, the monsters attacked the house of the exorcist, named Haruyoshi. After defeating the monsters on that same night, he was attacked by his favorite student. His student managed to defeat him, but he saw her crying after her betrayal. It turned out that the imperial court had ordered her to kill him, and he knew that the reason for this was his very strong power. He realized that this might be the price for his desire in gaining too much power. But before he died, he managed to cast a spell to be reincarnated and live again in another world. Then he promised himself that he would not let this mistake to happen again in his next life. When he was reborn in another world, he still had his memories of his past life. In this world, he was named Seika and the youngest of the 3 children of Count Blaise Lamprouje. What he and other people in the whole mansion knew was that he was the son from another woman. Unfortunately, he also did not know who his mother was. One day, they tried to check if he possessed elemental magic, but not a single crystal lit up, so they thought that he had no magic. Because of this, one of his brothers, named Glai, laughed at him. It seemed unusual because in this world, both humans with magic and demons exist. Most of the people possessed magic, and one was the Lamprouje clan, which was known as a family of mages. But even though he did not have magical power, it was not seen as a problem for him because he knew he had great spiritual power. He even practiced using his shikigami every day. Since paper was very important and scarce in this world, he made talismans out of leaves. While he was doing his daily training, Glai, who could not treat him like a real brother, came to him. He was saved because Glai was suddenly attacked by crows. Their eldest, named Luft, came there to drive away the crows, which turned out to be Seika's shikigami. Because he was an illegitimate child, their family was not doing even simple preparations nor celebrate his birthday. One day, their maid, named Yifa, handed over his jacket which she found outside the mansion. Seika immediately thought of Glai, who was the one who did it. Glai passed by and said something that was not nice to him. Their father arrived with their brother, and took Glai with them on a training. Seika begged if he could come with them, and their father allowed him. After Luft and Glai showed their magic, Glai had Seika try it so that their father could see what he could do. Seika agreed to this, and even though he did not have magical powers, he had an idea of what he was going to do. He used what he called an oni flame on his target, which surprised his brothers and their father and could not believe what they saw. Then he begged his father if he could also study magic, but his father did not allow him. He added that it was pointless and that he should just focus on his studies first because he hired someone to tutor him at home. One night, he let out one of his familiars from his previous life, named Yuki. Even though he was in a different persona, she was able to recognize him immediately. Because he was worried that someone else might see Yuki, he planned to hide her again, but Yuki transformed into a kogitsune and hid in Seika's hair. The next day, Yifa begged Seika if he could heal the injured baby carbuncle that she saw. Using Seika's talisman, he successfully healed its injuries. Suddenly, Seika told Yifa that he knew that she was not an ordinary person because she could see things that others could not. At this moment, Yifa had no other choice. So she decided to admit it to Seika and confessed that before her mother died, she was told to keep her ability a secret and that she should not tell this to others. She said that she could see elementals, and this was also the reason why she saw Seika's jacket outside. Seika was actually looking for someone with the ability to command elementals, and he did not expect that he would find her right away. He released Hidodama spirits and he asked Yifa to try and destroy it with her wind elementals. After several attempts, Yifa was able to do it successfully. Since then, Seika had been training her every day. When Seika's 12th birthday came, the mansion did not celebrate his birthday again. Unlike his brothers who always had a feast and presents. And their father was not even there too. After they ate, his brothers invited him to practice holding a sword. They said that he would surely become a knight when he get older because he had no magical power. Their maid came running and informed them about the approaching monster. It only took a few seconds for this monster, which was an elder newt, to arrive at their mansion. In Glai's fear, he immediately ran to hide, while Seika quickly left and went outside to fight this monster. When the people from the mansion went out, they saw Seika fighting it. Using Seika's poison oni flame, the monster died immediately. Everyone was amazed at what Seika had done, including his father who just arrived at the mansion. Because of what Seika did, the mansion prepared food to celebrate his birthday. His father intended to reward him as well, so Seika took this opportunity and requested to be allowed to study at the Lodonia Magic Academy. His father agreed to this, but he said he could not use his position as a count. Seika had to pass the academy exams so he could enroll in the academy. He also requested to his father that if possible, he would also take Yifa to the academy. Because of Yifa's ability to control elementals, Seika knew that she would be of great help to him. His father did not agree to this and said that Yifa had no magical talent. So in order for his father to agree to this, he showed to them what Yifa could do. After showing Yifa's ability, his father agreed to this, but Glai opposed this because he should be the one to study at the Magic Academy. Due to the tradition of their family that it is not possible for two brothers to follow the same path, their father decided that Glai should be sent to become a knight. Glai got mad and challenged Seika to a duel and demanded that the winner would be the one to be sent and study at the academy. Seika agreed to this and their father informed them that the duel would be held the next day at noon. While Seika was in his room, his brother Luft went to him and gave his present for his birthday. Luft also requested him to take things easy and not to hurt Glai on their duel. When Luft left and while Seika was looking at his gift, his window was suddenly attacked. It turned out to be Glai, who could not wait and wanted to begin their duel right away. Seika granted what he wanted to fight in a duel. Glai said that whoever lost had to surrender to the duel that would be held the next day. Then they started. Glai immediately attacked him, but he was surprised that Seika did not even get hurt. Then he used a wind lance, so Seika released a barrier. Glai repeatedly used wind lance, fireball and flame knot, but those did not work on Seika's barrier. After that, Seika used a talisman and this made Glai unable to move. Whatever Seika was doing on the talisman, it was directly felt by Glai. Because of so much pain, Glai gave up and immediately lost consciousness. It turned out that Seika planned all of these so he could get his father's approval to let him study at the academy. A few days ago, he summoned one of his familiars, named Bonds, and asked him to find the elder newt and search for it in its den. This was the reason how the monster arrived at their mansion. When spring came, Seika and Yifa left the mansion for Lodonia. As Seika arrived in Lodonia, their father remembered the day a woman brought Seika to their mansion. The woman said that Seika was the son of his brother, named Gilbert. After Gilbert disappeared into demon territory, Blaze thought that Seika might be the son of his brother with a demon mother. He observed that Seika's attacks were not ordinary also. Because of this, he knew that it was dangerous for Seika to enter as a knight because even though it was possible for him to become a hero, there was also a high possibility that he would become a demon king depending on who he met. When Seika and Yifa went to the academy for the entrance exam, he felt something strange around them. A teacher there, named Karen, brought them to look at the crystal ball for the elements that they possessed. Yifa had wind and flame elements, but when Seika tried it, they could not see anything, so he just said that he did not have magical power. A girl named Amiu suddenly came who was just from an ordinary class of people. After holding the crystal ball, it shone brightly, indicating that she possessed the 4 elements which she could use. As Amiu was leaving, Seika thanked her. He also noticed that she bore a resemblance to his student who defeated him in his past life. The written exam began and then it was followed by the practical exam. The students were asked to show their magic one by one until Yifa's name was called. Yifa first showed her fire element with the flamenot. It was so strong that they were all surprised, including the teacher Cordell. Next, she tried her wind element using the wind lance, which was also very powerful, and even Seika was amazed by it. He was happy because Yifa became stronger than before. Seika was called next and he used the Oni flame. Then he created pyrite for the earth element. For water, he made an icicle, and because their teacher was already impressed, he had not tried showing them what he could do to other elements. In the afternoon, while Cordell was watching what Seika and Yifa did, Karen came and approached him. Cordell was able to tell how he was amazed by what the 2 new students showed, and he was even more surprised on Amu's magic. Karen told him that she had a hunch that Amu might be the hero according to the prophecy. When the results of the entrance exam came out, Seika came third, Yifa came second while Amu got the first in rank. In the evening, an entrance ceremony was held. While they were going to the venue, Seika sensed something strange. Since Yifa could see it, she told him that those were dark elementals. They approached it and in the distance, they saw a magic circle. Seika left his shikigami there to watch over it while they were inside the venue for the entrance ceremony. As Mu spoke in front of other students, he sensed that the magic circle was activated. He could feel that there was something approaching them. Suddenly the door burst open and they saw the so-called lesser demons. Seika noticed that they seemed looking for something or someone. When the demon was about to attack a student, Seika prepared to help her, but Mu got ahead of him. While Mu was fighting the demons, he noticed that the demons were moving slow, so he tried to look around the school and saw another demon in the magic circle. So he told Yifa that he need to take care of something, and he immediately teleported to where the demon was located. This demon released his disciples, but Seika immediately killed two, while he captured the other one. This demon introduced himself as Gallios and told him that he could use the fire and earth elements. Seika tried to attack Gallios, but his attacks did not work on this demon. When Gallios attacked, he was able to cut off one of Seika's hands. At that moment, Gallios informed him about his goal in the academy, and that is to capture the hero. This demon described the hero to Seika, then he realized that it was referring to Mu. The fight continued. Gallios attacked again and cut Seika's body into pieces. Gallios was about to leave when he heard Seika's voice again. When he turned around, he was surprised to see him and its body, which was completely intact. Gallios attacked him again, but he was able to dodge it. Then he released a lot of water towards the demon. Gallios used its teleportation technique and attacked Seika from above. Seika released the lightning beast as his counter. But Gallios survived this, and attacked Seika from behind. Surprisingly, Seika was just fine. Gallios was confident that he could defeat Seika once all of the talismans were gone. But he was stunned to know that Seika had prepared a lot of his talismans. Then Seika decided to release the dragon, named Mizuchi. The dragon quickly attacked Gallios and dragged him until he was eaten. Seika was about to bring the dragon back, but it refused to be sealed again. So he used his talismans and successfully brought it back and sealed the door. When he returned inside the school, Mu was able to defeat the demons too. Seika knew that no matter how strong the person was, there would still be those who wanted to destroy them. This was what he learned in his past life, so he needed someone who would be the strongest instead of him. He thought that he could possibly achieve a better life as a servant to the strongest person. So he decided to make Mu a friend that he could trust and make her the strongest in that world. A month later, while he and Yifa were on their way to school, they almost bathed in green liquid from a jar. Their teacher, Mr. Cordell, apologized and said that it was a monster blood mixed with herbs and ore. Karen assigned the top 1 and top 2 students, who were Mu and Yifa, to deliver a list of new students as an offering to the temple in the forest of Lodonia. But Seika could sense that something bad might happen, so he told Yifa to refuse it so that he would be the one to join Mu in the task, since he was the top 3 student. On the day of the ceremony, and while walking to the temple, they saw a magic circle on a cut tree. It suddenly activated and they ended up in a dungeon. The monsters came there, which Mu quickly defeated. But there was another monster who tried to attack behind her, and fortunately, Seika quickly saved her. After that, they continued walking to find the exit. Seika attached his talismans one by one on the walls to help his shikigamis, which he had left above, to find their location. Suddenly they felt a strong power approaching them. When they arrived, Mu immediately killed the others here, but was hit hard by one of them. Seika ran towards her while attacking other monsters that were blocking his way. When Mu lost consciousness, Seika released the giant centipede that quickly killed the monsters. After a while Mu woke up, and all she could see were dead monsters. She suddenly got a headache, so Seika made a barrier that would stop the pain. Mu told him that since she came to the academy, her head started to hurt. In order for Seika not to use the barrier anymore, he asked for a strand of her hair and tied it to his shikigami to serve as her substitute. They had a little conversation and Mu shared stories about her family. She also told the story of the day she joined an expedition with many members, but half of her companions died. They continued walking to find their way out as they fought against the monster on their way. Until they reached the room where the boss was located. They decided to fight it, and as soon as they entered, it immediately woke up. Seika attacked first, but the monster was not affected by it and it retaliated against him. After Mu used the wind lance, Seika attacked it with an exploding nail. Seika told Amiyu to aim at the enemy's head with the fireball and the heat helped the thrust weapon to explode. Then Amiyu followed it with an attack that caused its defeat. In the distance, they saw the mithril sword stuck in the hand of the monster. Seika pulled it out and gave it to Amiyu for her to use. A ring also fell from it, so Seika took it because he felt some power from it. They successfully got out of the dungeon and their teachers immediately asked them about what happened. They said that they did not even know that there was a dungeon under the temple. Because the magic circle was gone, they could no longer identify who made it. One day, Seika went to a room which was inhabited by Cordell. Seika knew that this was the reason for Amyu's headache and the attack of the demons the other night. So Cordell admitted that he was a spy of the demons and his mission was to kill the hero. Since Seika already knew everything, Cordell decided to kill him too. But he was surprised when Seika told him that Amiyu was no longer the target of the curse created by Cordell. Seika released a demon he had captured and transferred the curse to his body. Cordell could not believe that Seika could return the curse to its creator. Cordell felt this on his body and killed him instantly. Because of Seika's Shikigami, he found out that Cordell was the one who created the curse. Seika decided to give the ring to Yifa. As the elementals approached her, Seika's suspicion was confirmed that this ring was not ordinary. During their second year at the academy, while they were eating, the vice principal came and approached to inform Seika and Yifa that they were asked to come to the principal's office the next evening. When they entered the principal's office, they met her and found out that the principal was a demi-human. The principal announced to them the upcoming tournament which will be held in the capital. A girl named Mabel, a first-year student, came to the office. The principal informed them that she was also a participant who would join the contest together with one of them. Amiyu could not accept the fact that she was not invited to represent in the said contest. Seika said that the principal told them that she knew who to send as the representative of the academy in the tournament. While they were walking outside, they met Mabel. Amiyu and Mabel got into a heated argument until Amiyu challenged Mabel to a duel. Amiyu immediately rushed to attack her. But Mabel blocked it and then she made an attack too and was able to break him plus use sword. Amiyu could not believe that Mabel defeated her. When the day came for them to go to the tournament, Amiyu decided to come along. She told them that she wanted to see the capital, but Seika knew that she actually wanted to watch Mabel's fights. When they got to the capital, they looked at the bracket and Seika saw that he might fight Mabel in the semi-finals. The day of the contest came. Seika was one of those in the first fight and his opponent was Dennis. The fight started, Dennis immediately rushed to attack but he only hit Seika's talisman. He was surprised when Seika quickly got behind him and with just one attack, Seika defeated Dennis. The next fight was between Bellum, who was a student of Sage Ford, and Kyle, who was a member of the Rugrick Merchants Association. When the fight started, Bellum positioned to attack his opponent. But when he looked at Kyle, he was terrified when he could not move his body. As Kyle approaches Bellum, Seika saw the fear on Bellum's face. When Kyle got close to Bellum, he attacked him with his sword, causing Bellum to lose the fight. For Seika's second fight, he fought against Labonaire, who was a puppeteer. Using Seika's sickle weasel attack, he was able to destroy Labonaire's golem. In this case, Labonaire had no choice but to give up in the fight. Meanwhile, for the second battle, Mabel would fight against the earth mage named Howlo. He repeatedly attacked Mabel with his rock blast, but she just crushed them all using her sword. When Mabel drew her sword, Howlo created a shield, but it was also destroyed by her. As Seika observed the fight between the two, it was possible that Mabel used gravity magic, which makes the sword heavier than the stone. Using Mabel's sword, she cut off Howlo's weapon, forcing him to surrender. Seika was surprised to hear that the referee called Mabel a red-haired hero after her victory. He learned from Amiyu that the second hero who would live was named Mabel. By nightfall, a demon spy was planning to send information, but Seika's pet caught the pigeon it used. Then Seika suddenly appeared to him. The spy was told about what he did, but it tried to deny the accusation on him before it decided to leave. When he got past Seika, the spy came back to attack, but Seika used his talisman and summoned something to catch him. Seika told the spy that he saw him talking to an informant. Seika tried to ask him about the information he was supposed to send, but the spy refused to tell him the details. Because of this, Seika decided to summon Satori, who had the ability to read minds. Even though the spy was not saying anything, Satori was able to answer all of Seika's questions by reading the mind of the spy. Seika found out about its direct leader and the hero that they were monitoring, whom they believed to be Mabel. When Seika finished asking questions, he let Satori eat the spy. After eating, Satori suddenly read Seika's mind. He did not like this and threatened Satori that he would kill him if he would not stop talking. This made Satori trembled in fear, so it immediately returned when Seika opened the door to another dimension. Then he called his pet that caught the spy's pigeon to check the message, but he could not understand it. From the previous information he got, he suspected that the school planned to let Mabel win in the tournament to get the attention of the crowd. This was to keep the real hero, which was Amiyu, away from the demons. He came up to this conclusion because the school surely knew it too before Cordell found out that Amiyu was the hero. Due to the death of Cordell and Gallios, the demons were not able to know about Amiyu. The next day, Kyle quickly finished his second match. While the young knight, named Reynes, also showed his strength with the 4 elements that he could use. This was the reason why his opponent was forced to give up in their fight for the third match. On Seika's turn, he fought against a necromancer in the third fight, which he quickly defeated. Even Mabel also won her third match, so she and Seika would fight in the semi-finals. Mabel talked to Seika and told him to give up on their fight, but he refused to do her request. While they were arguing, they heard the announcement that Kyle's opponent gave up on their third match. Reyna's opponent also surrendered, so their match was held for the semi-finals. When Mabel left, Seika went to Yifa to watch Kyle and Reyna's fight. As the fight started, Reyna's immediately covered its body with light magic, so if Kyle would attack him with its evil eye, it would not work on him. But Kyle did not budge and slowly approached Reyna's. Because of this, Reynes repeatedly attacked him, but those did not work on Kyle. Seika noticed that Kyle was also using a magic similar to what Mabel was using. As the fight continued, Reynes was forced to release golems, but Kyle quickly destroyed them. Reynes could not move, and when he was about to be attacked by Kyle, the judges immediately stopped the match. They declared Kyle the winner and would advance to the finals. At night, when Seika and Yuki were about to go to sleep, Seika saw Mabel outside, who was about to attack the place where he was staying. He immediately saved Yuki out of the bed and they were able to avoid Mabel's attack. Mabel attacked him again until they got out of the house through the window. Their fight continued until a drunk came. Then Mabel aimed at the man, and when Seika turned around, Mabel suddenly disappeared. Seika decided to find Mabel to talk to her and found her in the square. Seika knew that Mabel had no plans to kill him. Mabel admitted that she only wanted him to get hurt so he would be forced to forfeit their match. At that moment, Seika told her that he discovered her plan to pretend as the hero. Mabel was surprised that Seika knew about this. He felt that she had a big reason in joining the tournament. He told her that he wanted to know her reason that might change his mind, but it depends on Mabel's reason. So Mabel started sharing her story to Seika. Kyle was supposed to kill her to make the demons believe that the hero is dead. She also mentioned that they were both members of the Rugrick Merchants Association and were testing Kyle if he could be perfect as a mercenary. She added that a surgery was performed on Kyle's brain to make him lose his fear, anger and doubt, that he would only obey orders. In order to test Kyle, he must first kill 3 of his constant companions. She was supposed to be the third one killed by Kyle, but the association made money from her and used the tournament to make Kyle famous. Mabel told him that she no longer cared about the hero, the academy or the association. The reason why she wanted to reach the finals was to avenge his brother who was killed by Kyle. But Seika told her that he also knew that Kyle was her older brother. Since Seika seemed to know more than she expected, Mabel further explained that it was Kyle's request to her. Before performing the surgery, she was told to kill him if he lost his sanity. She wanted to fulfill this for her brother, so she must reach the finals. Because of this, Seika decided that he would beat Kyle in the finals. Even Mabel opposed to this. The next day, the match between Seika and Mabel was held. When the fight started, Mabel became aggressive on her attacks. Seika was able to make Mabel's weapon 1,000 times heavy, causing her unable to lift it. He also used the mercury binding vines to prevent Mabel from attacking him. Because of this, the judges announced Seika's victory and he would fight against Kyle in the finals. The battle for the finals started immediately. Before the battle began, Seika and Kyle had a short conversation. When the fight started, Seika used Onbanoyasu, which surrounded them with red smoke and caused the spectators to see nothing. As Kyle approached him, Seika tried to use the mercury-binding vines, but Kyle was able to cut it and attacked him, which he was also blocked using a barrier. It was this moment that Seika decided to summon one of his familiars, named Yushioni. Kyle attacked it, but his attacks had no effect on Yushioni. When Yushioni made an attack, Kyle tried to block it. But because Yushioni's great strength, the attack caused severe damage on Kyle. Seika planned to revive Kyle, but it turned out that he had a curse on his body that was suddenly activated, so he immediately created a barrier to suppress it. The curse reappeared and Kyle begged Seika to convey to Mabel his message of apology for breaking her hairpin. When Kyle died, Seika would have tried to revive him, but Yuki stopped him because someone might see his power. She warned him that what occurred in his past life might happen again. Because of this, Seika gradually calmed down and did not continue what he was planning to do. Seika took Kyle's body and lied to the tournament referee and officials about what happened. Together with Mabel, they buried Kyle's body, and it turned out that Mabel was her real name because it was what Kyle mentioned. He also told her the message of Kyle that made Mabel cry. On their way home, Amiyu challenged Mabel to a fight again. This time Amiyu won, and this was the start of their friendship. When they returned to the academy, Seika immediately spoke to the principal. He told the principal that he already knew her plan to save Mabel's life. The principal admitted that they used Mabel to hide Amiyu's identity. Instead of just using her, the association decided to sell Mabel to the academy because Kyle was going to kill her. Then the principal hoped for Seika to win the contest and return Mabel to the academy. After the conversation between Seika and the principal, he went to his friends in the library. Because Mabel returned her original hair color, Seika was not able to recognize her. Meanwhile, Seika informed them that he was going to the kingdom of Asteria to investigate the dragon in place of his father because he was too busy with other work. Amiyu and Mabel wanted to come with him, but Seika did not allow them because they had their own things to do, so only Yifa could come on his journey. Suddenly, the prince of Asteria, named Cecilio, came there with the demi-human, named Lisa, to talk to Seika in person. The prince was amazed on Yifa because of her beauty. He even thought that she was from a rich family, so he asked her to be one of his wives, but Lisa stopped him because the other students were watching. They continued their conversation in a room and talked about their problem regarding the dragon. The prince told the story of the role of the dragon in Asteria and the things it did to help them. But suddenly it changed its behavior and started attacking the cows and their crops. Seika wondered and asked why the dragon had been staying in Asteria for so long. Then Cecilio replied that according to legend, it was the former queen of Asteria who hatched it herself. The prince wanted Seika to investigate the reason for the dragon's sudden change of behavior and the truth about its origin. 2 days after the start of the vacation, they decided to travel to Asteria. When they arrived there, the prince greeted them, but after a while, the dragon appeared in the sky. When the dragon came close to the ground, someone released a lava tiger and tried to fight the dragon. It was not able to reach the dragon, so when it saw Yifa, it rushed on her. Fortunately, Seika stopped it, but it got away from his talisman. The tiger was about to attack him when it was stopped by the person who summoned it. It turned out to be from the leader of the mercenaries, named Zect, who was hired by the prince to kill the dragon. But Seika told the prince that it was not a good idea to harm the dragon. He worried that the dragon might just attack other nearby kingdoms or villages. Zect got annoyed with Seika's suggestion, so they both argued and the prince separated them. Seika reprimanded Yifa for not using her power when she was attacked by the tiger. Seika did not want Yifa to be like one of his students in his past life who was eaten by a dragon right in front of him. The next day they went to the library to get other information about the dragon. According to what they read, this dragon was with a female dragon and they had their hatchling. But 50 years later, the female dragon died. Seika decided to climb the mountain where the dragon lived, but he had no intention of fighting it. Before he went up the mountain, he informed the prince about it first. When he left, Lisa approached Yifa and they talked on the balcony while observing the surroundings. At that moment, Lisa told her that she knew Yifa could see elementals. She further explained that it was because she had the blood of an elf on her veins. Lisa offered Yifa to stay in Asteria because she also knew that Yifa could feel something monstrous on Seika's body. She told Yifa that it was also the reason why the elementals were avoiding him like they avoid demons' miasma. Yifa admitted that there was something strange about Seika, but she was sure that he was a person because she had been with him in the mansion since they were young. Although they did not know who was Seika's mother. Using Seika's giant centipede, he quickly reached the dragon's abode. When the dragon saw him, it attacked him, but Seika was able to capture the dragon. They approached its egg and Seika knew that this dragon changed its gender after the death of the female dragon, causing it to lay eggs as well. It was said to be natural to other creatures to meet the needs of their race. Seika noticed that the dragon seemed to be asking him for something. The dragon was referring to its egg and wanted him to keep it warm. Now he understood better what the dragon was going through and why it suddenly changed. Lisa took Yifa on a tour inside the kingdom so she could see what Asteria was doing to make their people develop their skills. When they returned to the balcony, Cecilio was there with other officials of the kingdom. They tried to make a contract and buy Yifa, but Yifa did not agree to this. So the prince ordered the soldiers to seize Yifa. When Yifa was about to use her power to escape, Lisa created a barrier to stop it. They needed to seal the deal with Yifa's blood. But before they could do so, the dragon came and broke Lisa's barrier. Seika was riding it and he told them that he needed someone who can use fire magic for the dragon's egg. Because of this, Seika took Yifa because she could help in this matter while Lisa and the prince could not stop them. When they arrived at the dragon's nest, Zekt's lava tiger tried to attack them. Fortunately, Seika was able to stop it. Zekt and his disciples appeared. They were actually planning to take the dragon's egg and they lied to the prince in their contract. Zekt ordered his tiger again to attack Seika and Yifa, but it was countered by Yifa's magic. Once again the tiger attacked with Zekt's disciples. It was here that Seika used the white flames which quickly defeated the tiger. The dragon also joined the fight and Zekt's disciples ran in fear, but Seika caught them by his vines. Yifa burned Zekt's spellbook that he could no longer cast his spells. Seika brought Zekt to the prince and he told everything about what he found out on the dragon's current situation and the reason for its sudden change. But after hearing Seika's words, the prince still wanted to kill the dragon so that people would know that he did something and increase his chances of inheriting the throne. Since Seika did not agree to this, the prince arrested him and tried to take Yifa. At this moment, Seika got angry because he could no longer tolerate Cecilio's selfishness and told him that he would not allow him to have Yifa. When Lisa joined the conversation, she asked Yifa about her true feelings. Yifa told them how she truly feel and the prince was not able to do something about this. Before they returned to the academy, Lisa talked to Yifa first. Then she gave Yifa her other elementals. While in Lodonia, there was a group led by Zormnum who started to take action to find the hero. One day, Seika invited Amiu to their house because his father wanted to see her. He also invited Mabel because he was sure that his father also wanted to see Baron Crane's daughter. When they arrived at their mansion, Luft and Yifa's father, named Edis, met them. Glai, who was already one of the Holy Knights, came and wanted to have a duel with Seika. When Amiu found out from Yifa that he was the one oppressing Seika, she decided to challenge Glai. He agreed to Amiu's challenge because Seika told him that Amiu was stronger than him. And if he wins with her, Seika would agree to duel with him. While the two were fighting, Glai tried to use his wand causing Amiu to be surprised and was beaten by him. Because of this, Seika could had no other choice but to accept Glai's challenge. But before they could start, a woman came. After Glai heard what the woman said, he lost the desire to duel with Seika. Then Glai introduced the girl who was Princess Fiona and was known as the Holy Princess. Fiona was called the Holy Princess because her mother was a priestess. After they entered the house, it was here that Fiona said the reason why she was in the mansion. It was to see Amiu, and Seika also knew about this. Since Fiona would be staying for a few days, they took her and the others in a tour around the mansion and the city. Seika noticed that Glai's behavior had changed a lot. When they passed a construction site, Fiona pulled Seika's hand so they could take a closer look. Suddenly, the rope that was carrying the logs of wood was cut and almost hit them. Fiona was disappointed because Seika was not the one who found a way to save them both. Because people were looking at them, they decided to go home. But before they left the city, Seika bought a tie for Fiona's hair to lessen the attention she got from people around them. In the afternoon, while Glai was on training, Seika approached him. They talked about Fiona, and Glai informed Seika that Fiona could see the future. Glai added that her mother was not just any priestess but an oracle priestess. When Fiona was born and as she grew older, she mentioned about the prophecy of the hero and demon king. Because of Fiona's desire to see Amiyu, she might already know that Amiyu was the hero she was talking about. Glai also warned Seika not to interfere in this matter. The next day, Fiona challenged Seika to play the chess. Since Seika was confident that he would win, Fiona wanted them to make a bet and the loser would do whatever the winner asked. While they were in the middle of the game, Fiona mentioned that she would win against him. So Seika mentioned what Glai said about her ability to see the future. He immediately realized why Glai retreated on their duel, because Fiona already knew Glai would be defeated. And she also knew the exact moment when the logs of wood would fell on them. Because of this, Seika decided to give up, and according to Fiona, she would think about what she would ask him to do. Meanwhile, in a forest, some bandits were attacked by the group of Zor. Zor knew that his companions were equally strong because he had the ability to see the strength of others. The day of Fiona's return to the palace had arrived. While they were on the way, they were ambushed by bandits. They blew up the empty carriage and Seika immediately came out to face them. Since the bandits don't have strong members, Seika just played with them. Glai also led the soldiers and attacked other bandits. Fiona came out and begged Seika to arrest all the bandits. After capturing them, they continued and arrived safely at the palace. Before Fiona entered, she assured Seika that she would be on his side no matter what happened. As the group of Zor continued their journey, he was thinking about the fierce battle they were about to face. Even if they kill the hero, they might not be able to return alive. After a few days of travel, they arrived at Lodonia. When Seika and others returned to Lodonia, the principal summoned him. She wanted him to be the representative for the upcoming welcome ceremony for the new students. When Zor's group arrived at the academy, he felt fear even though he could not see anything that might become a hindrance to them. They intended to gather all the students in the central building, and to do this, they needed to split up. They started to enter the academy, and when Gaines got inside, he immediately noticed the red fog. He heard that there were two students approaching, so he attacked them. While Lonnie and Pyrshlaria were together when they entered the academy, they also noticed the fog. When they saw a student ran in front of them, Lonnie summoned his familiars to attack the student. He was surprised that there was no reaction, so he sent his familiars back. While Mudrev was confronted by Mabel and they both fought. After Mudarev's attack, Mabel suddenly became a talisman. Zor went to the plaza and after a few moments the others came there too. All of them were carrying talismans, so Zor decided for them to retreat. Before they could leave, Seika suddenly appeared. Mudrev knew that Seika was strong and he wanted to fight him. Seika suddenly attacked him and he died instantly. Pyrshlaria rushed at Seika to turn him into stone, but she could not do it. Seika summoned the white snake. And while the two were staring at each other, Pyrshlaria's heart suddenly hurt and its third eye could not take it anymore, then she fell. Lonnie tried to tame the white snake but it just ate him. Zor was stunned while watching that his companions were being killed by Seika. So he decided to sacrifice himself so that Gaines could escape and deliver information to their colleagues. He was alerted because he could see Seika's strength, so he told Gaines that this was the Demon King. He released a powerful attack but it did not work against the power of Seika's attack. Gaines was able to teleport, but moments later, Seika also killed him using the talisman. The night came for the welcome ceremony for the new students. Seika was about to give a speech when some Empire soldiers suddenly came to the venue. They searched for Amiyu and arrested her for murdering the demon emissary who visited the academy one day. Seika talked to the principal about Amiyu's arrest. He had a hunch that the Empire was just looking for an excuse to kill the hero and he could not understand it. The principal told him that people in the Empire had different views and it had something to do with politics. He begged Seika not to act regarding this and that she would try her best to bring Amiyu back to the academy. After Seika came out of the principal's office, he just told Yifa and Mabel that the principal would take care of Amiyu's situation and all they could do was to wait. At night, Seika released the dragon to go to the palace to rescue Amiyu. Yuki tried to stop him because it might be the cause of his downfall. But he did not listen to Yuki because he was also angry. They headed to the palace, and when they got close to it, Seika released a lot of his talismans to enter the palace. He ordered his Shikigami to find Amyu's location. When he found her, he started walking to enter the palace as well. He fought against the guards outside. Using the sickle weasel, he quickly defeated them. Because of this, he immediately reached Amyu's location and took her out of jail. Glai and Fiona came there, and Seika asked for an explanation why she was doing this. Fiona explained the reason why she had to capture Amiyu. Like the demons, they also have to eliminate Amiyu, who was prophesied to be the hero. She further explained that the hero had the potential to start a war and no one wanted it to happen. She could also feel that this was what the demons wanted too, so they never stopped sending assassins to find and kill the hero. Another thing was that Amiyu could not achieve the strength that the previous hero had because Seika was always by her side. Because of this, Amiyu could not get much experience in fighting. But no matter what reasons Fiona gave, Seika still could not let Amiyu die. Fiona pleaded Seika to leave the palace and told him that she would do everything for Amiyu to return to the academy. Seika immediately understood Fiona's plan to talk with him right away for this chance so she could plead with him. And one of these was Fiona's beat when they played the chess that she has a request for the loser to do. Since Seika still could not trust her, Fiona was forced to let Amiyu go with Seika. They also prepared their carriage so they could leave. Fiona told them that they could go to the city of Rachna, for she also talked to the mayor about it. She added that the carriage was full of money and food, including Amyu's sword were also in there. Before they left, Seika resurrected the dead soldiers in exchange for not fulfilling their chess agreement. After they left, a demon spoke to Fiona and asked who was Seika. Fiona replied and said that he was the demon king of the current generation. The demon wondered why this king was protecting a hero. Then she answered that Amiyu was close to Seika and it was his natural tendency to use his power to help others. The next morning, Fiona sent a letter to Yifa to where they could find Seika and Amiyu. When the two reached the city of Arcana, they noticed the people gathering in the square. When they went to check what was going on, it turned out to be Mabel and Yifa, who were happy to see them. And that's the end of our story. I hope you like it and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss newly uploaded videos. Thank you for watching.